lie just to bury the truth. Loosen the ties, making no excuse. And I'm tired, I'm like, what's the use? Gotta get away to a place where I'm free. Gotta make a way to find a better me. Trying to find a space where I'm gonna be happy. Who would've thought? Old family secrets, hidden truths, cover-ups. Back in the day we were taught to keep it on the hush-hush. Plus, we had to maintain a certain family image. Didn't want to hear anything about our babies being touched. That would be too much to discuss. But enough is enough. Being touched is the last thing that should be on a child's mind. They should be thinking about things like double dutch, playing ball. But many nights I felt like the walls were closing in. Spent many nights over my big cousin's house and kicked it with her and her female friends. But when everyone fell asleep, she would reach under the sheets, touching me, rubbing me. I was only 7 then, and 40 years later, it's still bugging me. My first kiss was from my big cousin. My first lick was from my big cousin. And although it felt good, I was too young to understand that this wasn't right. That this was my flesh and kin on top of me, bare naked flesh and skin, telling me to put it in. I can still smell her scent. I can still picture her naked body. Was I a victim or a volunteer, or just being naughty? Needless to say, either way, I became a willing participant and doing whatever it took to make her happy. Who would have thought that I would be the perfect patsy? Tell me, what is a man to do? Living a lie just to bury the truth. Loosen the ties, making no excuse. And I'm tired, I'm like, what's the use? Gotta get away to a place where I'm free. Gotta make a way to find a better me. Trying to find a space where I'm gonna be happy. Who would have thought I would be the perfect patsy? I found out that she had been molested too. That explains why I went through what I went through. Now it's beginning to register. She did the same things to me that had been done to her. That's how the prey becomes the predator. 7 years later, at the age of 14, hormones running wild, bumping Princess Darling Nikki. I guess you could say I was a sex fiend. I'm a Simeon Wolverine now. My first in high school was Regine. But this time I was in control. It's like I couldn't get enough. The urge was so strong. And as long as I could bust, I was satisfied. After that, I could go home, leaving only to later see someone else. I've had sex with sisters and cousins. I just couldn't be trusted, seeing one behind the other's back, sometimes even getting busted. Many days to get laid. I would cut school like Ferris, using no protection. I was living reckless and careless, causing me to have my share of STDs. I'm telling you, man, you don't want that feeling. You don't want that. It's hard when you have that burning sensation, discharge and itching, filling prescriptions of amoxicillin and penicillin. The embarrassment of going to the clinic, seeing people that know you because you didn't do what you were supposed to. You should have listened to what your parents told you. Tell me, what is a man to do? Living a lie just to bury the truth. Loosen the ties, making no excuse. And I'm tired, I'm like, what's the use? Gotta get away to a place where I'm free. Gotta make a way to find a better me. Trying to find a space where I'm gonna be happy. Who would have thought I would be the perfect patsy? Through the years I've had my problems with being faithful. And because of the lust inside of me, I didn't even know if I was capable. But now things in my life are more stable. But I still war with my flesh. I guess it's all one big test. So I'm turning my mess into a message. The word says there's nothing good about the flesh. It's all evil. But I still feel hurt in my heart, because I know the truth. I've hurt so many people and hurt people. And sometimes I wonder how many children I would have if abortions were illegal. So I continue to pray for strength and discipline, and thank the Lord in advance for a better day. And finally, lifting the weight off my shoulders, giving me a new life and a better way. As for my cousin, I forgave her a long time ago for the things she did to me. She spent a lot of her adult life experiencing health problems and died last year at the age of 53. The services were so beautiful. Everyone spoke well, and the family asked me to preach the funeral. I've never said anything until now. I guess it's time for me to let go. I wanna be free. And this piece is not necessarily for the world. I wrote this piece for me. Patsy, tell me what is a man to do? Living a lie just to bury the truth. Loosen the ties, making no excuse. And I'm tired, I'm like, what's the use? Gotta get away to a place where I'm free. Gotta make a way to find a better me. Trying to find a space where I'm gonna be happy. Who would've thought I would be the perfect Patsy?
What's up, world? It's your girl, Tamika Georgia Me Harper. And when I'm listening to podcasts, I want the real deal. So I listen to Spoken Soul Sessions with my man, Poetic Blaq.
What's up, everybody? This your girl, Ebony the Goddess. And when I'm in these poetic streets going from venue to venue, I'm tuning in to Spoken Soul Sessions with Poetic Blaq.
Spoken Soul Sessions.
You ready, my man?
With Poetic Blaq.
Ain't nothing holding me back but me, and who's holding you but you.
Check this out, man.
Spoken Soul Sessions.
Oh my God.
This is Spoken Soul Sessions with Poetic Blaq.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Bold stances and lewd advances got us here.
You are listening to Spoken Soul Sessions with Poetic Blaq.
We'll start from scratch, exploring new possibilities.
Welcome to another episode of Spoken Soul Sessions. I'm your host, Poetic Blaq, and I'm happy to be here. Spoken Soul family, what's good? We got another dope show lined up for you today. I hope you're on your path today. I hope you're not allowing anyone or anything to impede your progress. I hope you're focused on the goal. Today is the day we shine, and I need us to get in tune. We got work to do, family. Let's get to it. Spoken Soul family, what's good? We got a dope show lined up for you guys today. I told you guys, Season 5 of Spoken Soul Sessions was going to be bananas. I told you guys I was searching high and low for the most influential artists. And my guest today is no exception. No exception. And he has brought friends with him. This is how influential this brother is. But let me give his brother the proper introduction he deserves. I'm talking about none other than DeAndre Hawthorne. You guys may know him as Blaq Ice. He is an award-winning American poet, international spoken word life artist, entertainer, lecturer, promoter, producer, host, videographer, graphic designer, published author, mentor, and activist. The contributions of this amazing artist to American and Chicago spoken word poetry is truly monumental. A history maker, Blaq Ice is the first hip-hop spoken word artist in Chicago to run for political office. In 2001, he ran for Alderman of the 17th Ward, placing in second. Blaq Ice made history by establishing the first national spoken word awards in 2017. This award show is the Grammys for performing poets. In 2021, Blaq Ice, as a member of the Black Heroes Matters movement, was instrumental in helping to change the historic Lakeshore Drive to Jean-Baptiste Point DuSable Lakeshore Drive. This was done after 200 years of denying the honor of the black man who founded Chicago. On April 2nd, 2022, he won his eighth Chicago Music Award. His seventh for Best Poet. He has produced and released over 30 albums and has produced over 15 albums for other artists. His poetry has been published in 9 anthologies, and he has just released his new book in April of this year. The activist and mentor. As an activist and a mentor, he has mentored thousands of young people in Chicago public schools since 1990. He has led peace marches on the south side and west side of Chicago against the murder and gun violence. He and his wife, Chicago's favorite black power couple, visit prisons, feed and clothe the homeless. Not only as he left an imprint in the spoken word genre internationally, but he has also left his footprint in communities all across the world with his artist activist movement, Poet, inspiring thousands of ordinary people to use their gifts to extraordinary works in their communities. Without any further ado, I want to welcome to the Spoken Soul Session studio the incomparable Blaq Ice.
Chicago. We had almost 800 murders last year. Do your math, that's more than double the days there are in a year mothers feed their babies not making it home from school. Unemployed brothers ain't got time to look for a job, but got time to be on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, acting a fool. And these gangs out here and following no rules, they ain't got no structure, but they knew exactly what they were doing when they denied parole for Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover. See, there's an old saying, cut off the head and the body would fall. Let this be a lesson to all y'all, and I'm a part of some of these Chicago artists who boast to the world on how their lyrics be so cold. And some of them will get right on stage and talk about how God saved their soul, but won't get out here and go to none of these schools or get out here on none of these streets to even try to save just one soul. And the church, y'all didn't hear me. I said in the church, if you really there to help save lives, then let me make a proposal. If the church you attend ain't involved in community affairs to help save lives, then damn it, stop paying your tithes. And as for the Black Lives Matter movement, you didn't think I was going to let you off the hook, did you? I believe that Black Lives Matter, but when a Black lives going to matter to Black people? March in a hood like you do downtown. Shut down some of these gas stations and liquor stores that have become breeding grounds for our babies to get shot down like you do those businesses on Black Friday downtown Chicago. Home of the world champion Chicago Sky. Home of the monsters of the Midway. Home of Michael Jordan and the Chicago bullshit. See, I don't think y'all understand. What's going down in Chicago has always been about land, and I recognize the hustle. But did you ever notice that as soon as they tore the projects down, the crime rate in Chicago doubled? Displace these gangs to go live where those gangs live. Let them kill one another. So what if an innocent baby gets killed? We'll go to the funeral and send flowers to the mother. In the meantime, let the land on the south side and the west side become devalued. And ain't no scholar, but in my community right now, they selling vacant land for just $1. And like the land that the projects used to stand on, they gonna build retail spaces and condos. And while we addicted to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and our babies are addicted to nachos and cheese, little baby Chucky say cheese. So what if you're a boy, shake your booty for the camera, say cheese? Chicago. We had almost 800 murders last year. And we all have a responsibility to come out of the nightclub and get in these streets. Come out of the four walls of the church and get in these streets. Get off of your social media soapbox and get in these streets. See, we all like to talk the talk, and we love for our voices to be heard. But when are you going to realize that it's your actions that speaks louder than your words? Peace and blessings, y'all. Blaq Ice from Chicago. What's up, King? How you doing?
What's good, my brother? Oh man, you done came in the studio like no one else has ever come in the studio. You've come into the studio in your own stellar way, man, and I'm digging it, man. I'm really digging it, man. Welcome to the platform, my brother, man. It's so good to have you in the studio, man. This is a long time coming, man. This is a long time coming because we will get into that a little bit later of when I first, heard about you and your movement back in the Blog Talk era, man. And I want to get into that. But first, man, you hit me with Double Time, man. The piece that I played in the beginning of the show. Yes. Powerful piece, man. The amount of vulnerability that you've displayed in that piece right there, man, it speaks volumes, man, to who you are as a man. And I thought that was just absolutely amazing, man. That was a deep, deep poem, the Patsy, man. Phenomenal work. And then before we can even deep dive into that, man, you come in and you hit me with the, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Like what's going on in Chicago? We all see it from the TV screen, from the news and social media, what's going on, man. But your boots on the ground, my brother. Your boots on the ground, man. And you've been doing this work for many years, man. For many years you've been doing this work. Tell us a little bit about Chicago and the current state of Chicago and how it really affects your pen.
Absolutely. But first of all, let me send a shout out to my man, Orion Meadows, one of our poet members and representatives here from Chi-Town. Shout out to my man, Aquil Ali, who's on with us, and one of our Houston representatives of the Poet People of Extraordinary Talent organization. And shout out to you, Poetic Blaq, man. I really appreciate you, bro, for having me on this platform. And I admire the work that you do so much, brother, just providing this platform for artists, that may be on another level within artists that may not be on, as such a level as some other artists, even here in Georgia, me, come on, one of the queens from ATL. So shout out to you. But listen, let's get into Chi-Town is a war zone in some of these neighborhoods, man. And we talking about AR-15s, we talking about assault rifles, we talking about stuff that you only see in war zone areas, right? That's not all Chicago, but it's pockets definitely on the south side and the west side of Chicago that, have that type of element. Now, that to the side, Chicago, and when we say Chi-Town, summertime Chi, it's the best time of the year for Chicago when it comes to attractions and tourists and festivals. And we got Lollapalooza here. We got the Riot Fest. We got the African Fest. We got the Festival of Life. We got all kind of stuff going on, even neighborhood events that we have, and when people come to Chicago, they may be afraid of what they hear on the TV about this violence that's going on, but the violence is actually isolated to certain pockets of the city. When you talk about summertime Chi, that's a whole different feel and a whole different flavor. But as far as the poet organization is concerned, we, like you said, like to have our boots on the ground. So we go to schools and we do mentorship programs. We go to community centers. We just came from the Impact Family Center last week. And just like poetry and hip hop saved my life, right? We use that same vehicle to help the lives of other people, being able to give them a tool in which they could express themselves in a creative way, in a way where they're not sticking nobody up, shooting nobody, killing nobody, popping no pills, gang banging on the corner. But now here it is, just like Patsy, which was a very, very traumatic experience for me. Little did I even know, because, when you younger and you a boy, it's like, you got wet dreams and you got all this other stuff. You just like sexually at your peak when you are such at a young age. But I didn't realize that molestation that took place with me, with my cousin, actually played a role in me being so promiscuous as a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Just couldn't be with one individual. Why I couldn't be just with one woman, and this thirst that I had for this sexual experience, and it wasn't even really about being connected to someone or being emotionally involved with someone. It was really just about the feeling. You know what I'm saying? The same feeling that I was given as a child, having that desire to keep receiving that feeling as a teenager. So there was many times when I would have sex with someone and wouldn't be connected to them. I've never dogged anybody out. My wife always say, yeah, you say that, but you know, I always cared about people that I spent time with. I always cared about them. You know what I'm saying? And but it was still that addiction that I had due to that molestation, man, when I was around 8 years old. So, you know, writing that piece, Patsy, was a very hard piece for me to write because it was actually a block. I didn't recall what happened to me for maybe about 2 years or so. And then it started coming back to me, remembering what happened with movies like Antoine Fisher started coming out. I'm like, man, I experienced some of that same type of thing. But to actually write it as a man, and to actually talk about being molested by a cousin of mine, by a female cousin of mine when I was younger, that was the part that was a little bit difficult to do. But unless, I teach this to artists, unless you're naked, open, and exposed and transparent about the journey of your life, then you can never ascend to the artist that God intends for you to be.
Profound, my brother. Very profound. Man, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage, you know, to be able to speak your truth. And in doing so, I'm pretty sure you're an inspiration to so many others, you know, who can find some form of solace in your words, find some form of encouragement to know that you can overcome this. But right. Very powerful, man. And then to speak about the current situation in Chicago and why it's like that. You know, why these brothers are you walking around. I was just I'm telling my wife yesterday, in fact, I'm like, we watching this video and these guys all sitting, they talking in the street, and then a car start going by and they just all pull out all types of guns. And this is like a regular pedestrian, you know, going down, and they all got guns, brandishing guns. And I'm like, wow. And I'm saying, how are they getting these guns? You know, because you know, you look at the amount that these guns cost. ARs go from anywhere from 8,000 to 15,000. So where are these young kids getting these guns? You know what I'm saying? Right. That's the question I'm asking. And I'm hearing rumors about how the government is dropping guns in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Dropping guns, crates of guns in the hood, and where it can be found. And these brothers are getting these weapons. I'm like, I don't see these brothers getting these, like going into the store legally obtaining these weapons, you know, and they're really expensive. So I'm asking, everybody got a gun, where they getting these guns from, you know? And
if you look at Clone Tyrone, you know, it really kind of speaks to this type of issue that you don't see the hidden hand, because there are gun manufacturers on the south side and the west side of Chicago. There were no chemists on the south side and the west side of Chicago. There is no boat owners that are shipping these products in by boat on the west side and the south side of Chicago. So you have to look at it. Yeah, these are the ones that's pulling the trigger. These are the ones that's selling and taking the drugs. But like you said, who's bringing it in? We're always talking about protecting the borders and not letting Mexico or the Mexicans into America, or protecting the borders in Texas, or protecting the borders in Florida and everywhere else. Who's protecting the borders of Chicago? you know, and Detroit and these other inner cities where these things are being flooded into our community, and it's perpetuating the violence that we see every day in our community.
Wow, man. Now, since you done came into the studio, man, with this, you know, you came in all fashion, man. You just switched everything up. I didn't even ask you the question, man. I would get 100 emails, man. Why you didn't ask them? You know what I mean? I ask every guest that come on the show this one question, and I will get it in the emails, man. They will like, yo, you didn't ask the brother. And I ask everyone because I like to get the perspective of different artists. You know, poetry is subjective, you know, people's perceptions, you know. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Blaq Ice.
Yes, sir.
Why poetry? Why spoken word?
Right. So let's go back to poetry because spoken word is a little bit different. Spoken word is more off of the branch of the hip hop tree. Poetry is the root of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? RAP, rhythm and poetry. So as a child, I would look at the books that my mother would bring home, who's a Jehovah's Witness. She's still currently practicing Jehovah's Witness today, over 50 plus years. She used to bring home these books, my book of Bible story, and You Can Live Forever in Paradise.
I remember that book. I had that book.
The yellow book.
The yellow book. Yep, the yellow book. I remember that book.
So I would look at the illustrations and the pictures that were in the book.
Talk about it, brother.
Live in harmony with nature and animals. And I would begin to write poetry about what I saw in the books. So poetry became a beautiful thing. I always had a gift with words. And so then in 1985, Crush Groove came out. And then I was like, wait a minute. I can take these things that I'm writing and I can put it to music, and then I can do rhythm with the poetry, which is the rap, RAP, rhythm and poetry. And so then the hip hop career expanded from 1985. Actually, I'm still hip hop, I still rap as well. But spoken word came into play in the year 2000. I was running for political office. My big sister, Strawberry Taylor, queen of erotic poetry, had invited me and my son's mother to see one of her poetry shows. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm listening to the artists. I'm watching them spit. And I'm like, if I brought my level of entertainment to this genre, it would be exceptional. It would really set me apart from the other spoken word artists that I'm looking at and that I see. And so I began to switch up my style from, of course, writing raps to writing spoken word, which the difference between the two is the bar limitation. Spoken word has no bar limitation, but you know we got to complete the rhymes within the bar limitation when we're talking about hip hop or rap. So now I'm combining writing spoken word with my real life. Everything that I write is either a testimony of something that I've personally gone through, or my vantage point of view politically, socially, economically, emotionally, relationship-wise, or someone whom I am close to, who have shared with me what their personal journey is, and I was inspired to put it into words. So why spoken word poetry? Because hip-hop and spoken word poetry saved my life. When he passed away in 2008, September the 3rd. And it's ironic that the Spoken Word Awards is on the same day this year, September the 3rd, the same day that my son died.
Wow.
So this was my outlet. Standing on stage, sharing these words, talking about my hurt, my pain, my trauma, and sharing it with those who have gone through some similar things. Maybe not the loss of a child, but going through some similar traumatic experiences. And so sharing with them that this is what helped save my life. This is what prevented me from committing suicide, because I had an outlet to release this hurt and this pain. And if I did it, and if it's helping me overcome the things that I have experienced and going through, then it can do the same for you. So when we go into these schools and into these prisons and into these youth centers, We're teaching them that, hey, we're going to get up here, we're going to share with you what we went through, but now we want you to tell us what you've never told anybody before. Put it in a poem. Put it in a rap. Put it in a song. And then that's the first step of starting to release the hurt and the pain. And once they release it, just like I released it, it can be replaced by something that's positive.
So,
because poetry literally saved my life. It kept me off the street. It kept me out of gangs. It kept me away from drugs.
It's phenomenal, because so many different artists that come up on this platform. You know, I've interviewed at least about 50 different poets, and I asked them all the same question. You would be surprised how many people give that same identical reply that poetry saved their life, including myself. But my brother, man, you got big things going on. And the shirt, the poet shirt, this shirt has been seen all over social media. You know, this brand, you see it all over the place. Like every time I'm on Instagram, I'm seeing some event with Blaq Ice, poet. I'm seeing, you know, everywhere I turn, you know what I mean? I'm seeing this. So it's evidence that you're really out here working, my brother. You're really out here working. So I want to talk about that, because you brought some artists along with you, man. And you didn't bring any artists. You didn't bring any artists on the platform, man. You brought some giants with you, man. You almost broke my damn studio coming in. You know what I'm saying? Giants with you. You brought some giants. One of the brothers that you brought, I've had on the show. I had the pleasure of doing a sit-down interview with this brother, and I think he's absolutely phenomenal. But we'll get into him a little later. So you see this poet everywhere. So this is an acronym for people of extraordinary talent. Am I correct?
You know what? You are correct. You know, this movement was started in 1990, and it was crazy because I would have people come into Simeon High School, which is the same school that Derrick Rose went to, which is the same school that, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of giants came out of the school. The great Ben Wilson, who was murdered, you know, but he was #1 in the nation, and so many others. But at Simeon High School, they would have assemblies. And we would have to attend the assemblies, and some of them were so boring. I was like, let me create an edutainment program. And an edutainment program called Prisoners of the System. You know, at the time I was the top hip hop artist in CPS, or the Chicago Public School System. I was #1. So I was like, let me take this hip hop, spoken word didn't exist then. And so I was like, let me take this hip hop, let me take this poetry, and let me take it to all of the other schools. And that's where Poet was birthed at in 1990, People of Extraordinary Talent. And from 1990 to 2023, what started in a neighborhood on the south side of the city of Chicago is now in Jamaica, it's in Ghana, it's all across Africa, Nigeria, it's in Europe, and it's all across the United States. And it's just a blessing, because I grew up watching Voltron. And I grew up understanding that, you know, it took pieces to the puzzle to connect together to make a mighty movement. And our motto is changing the world one heart, one mind, one verse at a time. Individually, we are great, but collectively, we are powerful. So this brother that's on the line with us represents our Houston chapter. I'm so proud to be with this brother. And it was crazy because the brother, I was like, man, what you think about coming on board and joining the movement Poet? He was like, man, I was wondering why you never asked me. So we both, you know what I'm saying? We have such a kindred spirit, man. And we both, you know, are leaders in our own right. And I'm not looking for anybody to be under me. You know, I'm not looking to be over anybody. I'm looking to create leaders, or leaders that already exist, give them a platform where they can connect to a larger family. And so now when Aquil goes to the school system in Houston, he can say, go to our website, iampoet.org. And although he may not have anything particular in Houston that they can look at, we have things in Chicago and Detroit on the website that's already in motion, videos that are already there. And he can say, go in there and look and see what we do in the school system. So it opens up doors for him. Anybody that's under this umbrella, it opens up doors for them in ways that maybe they may not even be able to open up doors by their individual self.
Dope. Let me get his brother the proper introduction he deserves. I want to hear something from our brother. And I plan to have this brother on the platform to do a sit-down interview. He's a powerhouse. You know, I've been to his rooms on Clubhouse. Very powerful rooms. I'm talking about none other than Aquil Hussein Ali Bashir, deemed the most interesting man in the hood by radio personality Patty Jackson, was born in Philadelphia on September 2nd, 1972, to two loving parents, Dr. Abdul M. Bashir and his late wife, Nazira A. Bashir, the iconic power couple who brought Paramount Dental to Philadelphia, PA on 52nd Street and Master Street. Aquil grew up over the country, learning and helping his family to facilitate affordable dentures to impoverished communities, while affording them the ability to smile again. While a student of Overbrook High School in 1988, Aquil was a radio TV personality, The Way It Is, at the tender age of 15 on WDAS AM FM radio, working alongside radio greats such as the late Butterball Joe Tabaro, Jacko Henderson, Georgie Woods, Tambalin Henry, E. Stevens Collins, and Doug Henderson, and Patty Jackson, just to name a few. He's interviewed Smoking Joe Frazier. Wow. He interviewed Smoking Joe Frazier, Marvis Frazier, Percy Sutton of the Apollo Theater, Kumo D, Heavy D, Black Box, Tony Tone, Maxie Priest, Prince, Michael Jackson, and James Earl Jones. Aquil's contributed to television credits for PHL 17 Kid Time News and also made great appearances on BET's Teen Summit. If I read this brother's bio, the entirety, man, we'll be here for 15 years. This is a powerhouse. I want to welcome to the Spoken Soul Session studio the incomparable brother Aquil. What's going on, my brother?
Wow. What's good, my brother?
I am so good, man.
So many stories about this space, and you know, Blaq Ice hit me up. He's like, "Hey, man, you available?" I'm like, "Yeah, meet me in." Send me the link. I had no idea. You see how God works? I had no idea we was coming up in here, but I am glad I was available, and I'm so blessed to be here with you, my good brother.
Most definite, King, man. I really appreciate your contribution to spoken word. I'm seeing it every day, you know, on the Clubhouse app. You know, you bring so much, man. You interviewed my partner, Written in Pain, a phenomenal interview, man. And I listen to the replays and I attend the ones live that I can. And I see your format, man. It's a big deep dive into the poet, man. You really get into the character and the mind of the poet that you're interviewing, man. And and you're a powerhouse, man. And I love and I appreciate and I applaud all of the powerhouses that come together that push our genre to the next level. I mean, you guys are really doing work. I had no idea that you was affiliated with Poet. I didn't know that. And I'm like, wow, this is like you a powerhouse in yourself, but when I found, like, oh snap, this is because Orion, man, he's a good brother, man. This brother right here, man, I saw this brother on Instagram and his poetry blew me away. But he called me, man, because we stay in touch after I interviewed him. And he said, yo, what's good, Blaq, man? He said, yo, man, I got some dope interviews for you, man. I said, who you talk about? So he said, you know Blaq? I was like, yeah, I know Blaq Ice. I know Blaq Ice. He's like, yeah, man, I wanna get him to come on your show, man. And I was like, most definite, like hands down, most definite. And then it came to be that he was gonna bring people with him. And I was like, wow, he brought Orion. We're going to talk to Orion a little bit later. But then he brought the incomparable Aquil, man. And this is a beautiful thing, man. This is a beautiful event to have so many powerhouses in one setting and one time, man. What's going on, my brother, man? What's going on with you?
Man, anytime Blaq calls, I'm there. If I ain't got nothing else to do, or if I can switch things up or however the case may be, you know, I'm there for that brother. Poet I've always been a fan of the movement. I used to tell, because we started, my movements is Black Love Poetry Series, and now we're One Love Poetry Series. But when we were Black Love, I used to look around my staff, and I'm like, these cats over there got, they, like you said, boots on the street. Yo, I mean, we talking. We in here talking, and these cats out there in Chicago has got boots on the street. I grew up in the nation, so I'm very familiar with Chicago. You know what I'm saying? My father made Elijah Muhammad's first pair of choppers. So I'm very, very in tune with the movement and the energy of I said, that's real activism. And I used to try to tell my people in my organization, man, that's the kind of stuff that we need to do.
That's right.
And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. So I knew then I got the wrong cat. We revamped it, and I said, you know what? God bless me to go ahead and just be in the organization itself. And my wife and I are very excited that we are part of the poet organization, and we can't wait to come to Chicago, see how they do things first eye, and you know what I mean, see for ourselves, sit and vibe with everybody at Poet, so we can implement it here in Houston, because this is a big. I'm already set my sights on cats that I would love to join forces with us, to join and do what we got to do for people, you know, for human beings.
Definitely.
That's what it's all about. The first thing I asked Blaq, because, you know, I said, hey, is this a Black thing? He said, man, this is a love thing. This is for everybody. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm into. I'm into humans living in peace. My wife and I, we are very heavy into the words, because if you know the word, I got less problems out you. So guess what? 9 years, I'm trying to be as peaceful and have them be in peaceful situations as possible. You know what I mean? Everybody's talking about the weather here in Houston. Yesterday was 113 degrees. Wow. This is global warming at its finest, my brother. The only thing that just keeps hitting me over the head is like, I wish I could tell the future generation, we apologize for how we abuse this beautiful thing that we call Earth. And that really puts them in harm's way with the mentality, with the habits that we use as far as the environment, the mentality as far as how we treat each other. Something got to drastically change. So, hey, man, we're doing a lot of things. We're trying to join as many movements who think alike and see what we can do, put our minds together to combat some of these issues.
Definitely, man. Like-minded people, man. We can affect change that way. You know, I wanted to get the audience, man, if you could, man, you know, if you could bless the mic, you know, and bless us with a piece, that would be beautiful, my brother. If you could get us a piece, man, and
yes, sir.
Oh, definitely. Let me set the stage up for you, King. Coming to the stage. Let's give a warm welcome for our brother, the incomparable Aquil.
I call this one Black Wall Street is burning. They said, forget your Jim Crow. We got everything we need and money flow. From bustling shop to our very own banks, giving our loans allowed me to put things in the proper perspective. It's 1921. The so-called Negro's dollar is finally getting respected. The counterparts are starting to get the message. Black folks just might be doing better than them. So forget your whites only water fountain, friend. Segregation has only taught us one thing. The black dollar is stronger than it's ever been. Circulating in the neighborhood for at least 45 days before a white hand could ever call it this pay. I can only imagine the jealousy that formed the KKK. Despite all the oppression per se, subtract my history, taught to pray your way, programmed to be only wicked to me. And y'all know the rest. Instead of a humbling request to ask the black man to cut a check, they'd rather burn, pillage, wrap ropes around people's necks. Oh, this former oppressor couldn't swallow that pill. Witnessing a black neighborhood looking as fine as Beverly Hills. So they looted, and they burned, and they beat the blacks up the railroad tracks, methodically invading this prosperous black community. Like rats. I say again, my brothers and sisters, Black Wall Street is burning. Simply put, Black Wall Street was making too much cheese, educating the children in better schools with ease, high stepping out of mansions, envied by these treacherous Klansmen, the greatest nightmare realized. Perpetual wealth conceived by a slave. Oh, no way. City officials, get on the tape. Law enforcement was simply a disgrace. Insurance policies should have been written on toilet paper. Now, Mr. Charlie, the epitome of the green-eyed hater, cut the phone lines and the telegraph wires, can't call for help later, bombing U.S. homes on American soil. So, after the Buffalo Soldier, sacrificing toil on the same mutual battlefields overseas. Now he's shut up in these hometown streets, and it's raining bullets now. Airplanes and the machine guns and airplanes in the clouds. Mass graves are needed to bury the citizens underground. Burning flesh senses the nose of this incredible beast. They were killing men, women, and even children in their sleep. Man, this is even beyond Willie Lynch's cup of tea. It's the devil himself coming to pay a visit. The greatest lie ever told that he doesn't exist, isn't it? Meanwhile, the newspaper downplayed the death total to 29, knowing it was over 10,000, not to mention reporting the niggas are rioting and burning up their own damn houses. I say again, Black Wall Street is burning. Meanwhile, there were no white arrests ever made. The newly homeless blacks had to hide behind barricades. Concentration camps for the victims of this aftermath, feeling like salted bones watching the perpetrators wear their mates off their backs. As they scurry over donated rag, word come while some are hiding in the wood. There is no more neighborhood. Over 600 homes gone for good. 21 churches destroyed. There is no more Greenwood. No one's left to return because Black Wall Street, oh, Black Wall Street, was left to burn in peace.
Wow. Talking about a powerful piece, my brother. Talking about a powerful piece, my brother. This right here, man. I did a poem called Black Consumerism. And I was hinting at the things that you were talking about in details in this poem. You know, we talk about, you know, a town founded by a black entrepreneur. His name was O.W. Gurley. And, you know, he decided that he purchased 40 acres of land, and he took this land and he said, I'm going to sell this land only to black people. Where black people can set up stores or shops or whatever the case may be. And thus, you know, was established the town of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which got that name, Black Wall Street. Man. And the research, when I was researching for this poem, you know, when I was writing this poem, you know, because this poem that Black Consumerism, I was entered into a competition called the Night of Champions, you know, in New York, and it was a $2,500 like prize, but it was for slammers who had won a particular slam with this particular promoter. And he set up this big slam where it was the Night of Champions. All these people that was competing was champions. And it was a theme. The theme was the 1920s. So we had to do 4 pieces. We had to do 4 pieces, you know, centered around different things that was going on in the 1920s. Black consumerism, the Harlem Renaissance, you know, the women's movement, you know, as far as, you know, all those things, the 19th Amendment and all that. So I did this poem called Black Consumerism. And I think that was the poem that tipped the scale and really got me that win. And but in this poem, I was saying that the dollar used to circulate in that town 60 to 100 times before it left that town. So that dollar would get circulated. It would go for the shoe repairman, to the movie theater, to the hospital, to all these different businesses. Now, today, when you compare and contrast this, the black dollar stays in the black community for 6 hours. 6 hours. And then you talked about the plane attack, because people talk about the first time planes was used in a terrorist attack was in 9/11. Bullshit. Because the first time it was used is to destroy the town of Greenwood. They dropped bombs on this town, and then they built highways through it so it could never come back to its full glory. You know, very diabolical, man. I was listening to this poem, and I'm literally, man, I got goosebumps and my hairs are raised because I resonate with it so much. This was a powerful poem, my brother. Powerful. And sometimes we forget, but we have to remember. You know, in this day and age, we have, like, that's why I appreciate what you brothers are doing, because you know, in this day and age, we need assistance. We need to gather. We need to come together. You know, we need to take all the help that we can get, people of like minds, and move forward. You know, effect some form of change. And you guys are doing it, man. Yo, I really want to sit down with you, Aquil, on a private interview, one-on-one. If you would come back to the platform, man, it would be an honor. Powerful poem, my brother. Powerful poem, man. I really appreciate. One more time for our brother Aquil. Most definitely, man. Now, Blaq Ice, man, you come in here, man, with heavy hitters, man. Heavy hitters, man. You know, we gonna get Orion back in. We gonna get Orion to drop in, but I wanna get back to you, Blaq Ice.
Okay.
I wanna get back to you, my brother, man. You know, you're doing positive things, King, because you know, I can tell you're doing positive things because you have like-minded, positive people, you know, around you. You know, I know of Aquil's, you know, his stature in this community and what his contribution is, man. And for him to link up with you, it just is a testament, you know, it's a testament of your character and what you represent, you know. So, my brother, you came up with, in 2017, you came up with the National Poetry Awards, right?
Well, that's correct. The name It's the National Spoken Word Awards.
The National Spoken Word Awards. Yes.
Yeah, and the reason why I want to correct the name, because there was a National Poetry Awards. The brother Troy Poet Lewis. And
exactly.
I want to give credit is due. Him and I, became very close, and I began to, travel to his award shows, and I saw a void that I felt like I could feel. He had everything together, but I felt like when it came to the production part of it, I felt like there was something that was missing that I could bring to the table. So I told him, I said, brother, let me bring it to Chicago. Let me bring it to Chicago and post it here. And so I brought it to Chicago. We have most of our concerts inside of a movie theater. So we have the big screen, we have all those things. And so we brought it to Chicago, and that was the first time that I actually saw the National Poetry Awards sold out, with attendance, And so he had got heavily into acting, into movies and different things of that sort. And so at the time, I was just thinking about doing the Midwest Spoken Word Awards. Yeah, so, the brother approached me and he was like, we've had our run. It's been 7 years. We've done the National Poetry Awards. So he was like, Ice, if you want to pick it up from here, you can do it. The only thing that I ask you to do is not to call your award the National Poetry Awards, right? And so with me being a performer and an entertainer, I was like, well, I would rather do spoken word anyway, and that way I can deal specifically with performing poets. And I teach, when we do our artist development classes, that every spoken word artist is a poet, but every poet is not a spoken word artist. So to deal specifically the performance. So we founded in 2006. The first award show was in 2007, and this September the 3rd will be our 7th annual National Spoken Word Awards, and I'm very proud about it.
Indeed, man, because I heard about the National Spoken Word Awards, man. A friend of mine, I had him on the show as well, Eric Crow Draven. Yes. I think he won Best Erotic Poet one year. He did. I think that was 2015, maybe. I don't know. But he was nominated, and I know he won because I was voting for him, man, because he was representing New York. And it was beautiful, man. When I saw this, I was like, wow, I was in amazement. And then I got a chance to see the photos, man, and you guys really showed out. It was a big event. And back then in the Blog Talk era, because that's the first time I got exposed to you, Blaq Ice.
I think I said the year 2006. I meant 2016, so I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, 2016. All right, yeah. But you back in the Blog Talk era, when I was on Blog Talk, I didn't have no show or nothing, but I would frequent Blog Talk and do poetry, and your name came up. And it was a mistake because there's another Blaq Ice. There's the deaf poet Blaq Ice. So when I first heard about Blaq Ice, I was like, my homeboy told me, he was like, yo, man, Blaq Ice performed in Chicago. Blaq Ice performed in Chicago. Now, Blaq Ice was the reason why I became a spoken word artist. I was exposed to his poetry, and I was like, he was phenomenal, because before that I thought poetry was soft, but when I seen that, I was like, whoa, this is profound. I could do this, and I got inspired. So when he showed me the video, I was like, I'm looking, because you guys do favor each other. You guys do favor each other. And I'm looking, I was like, hold on, nah, that's not Blaq Ice. So then I looked at the name, and I seen that the name was spelled with the Q, and I was like, oh, but since then, because I know you get that mix up from time to time, I've seen you do so much in this poetry community, man. I've seen you do so much, man, constantly, man, like constantly on your grind. And you know, I gotta give you your flowers for that, my brother. And then I got exposed to your spoken word because I wanted to hear, you know, who is this artist? You know what I'm saying? Taking this Blaq Ice name. And then I listened to your work and you're dope. You're dope. You know what I'm saying? So it's
great. And, you know, and let me say it's crazy the way it happened because I came into spoken word in the year 2000. And as I said before, I was running for political office that year. And when I came into spoken word, I was already Ice, you know, from childhood. You know, I've been performing since 1985, but the name was Ice Cold back then, right? So I'm 14, 15 years old. So when I got into spoken word, the name Blaq Ice came about by a coworker who I used to deal with. She thought she was being funny. She said, "What's up, black ass Ice?" And I was like, that's dope. Thank you so much. You know what I'm saying? I took upon that name, and for 2 years, from 2000 to 2002, I was Blaq Ice, you know, and that was BLACK. And Russell Simmons' Their Poetry Jam came out in 2002. And so then we became aware, and most of the Chicago poets became aware that there was another poet in Philadelphia that went by the same name. And as you said, we have some similarities as far as features are concerned. And so with that brother at that time being more popular than me, I was like, man, I need to make a choice, make a decision. Am I going to change my name totally? But I had already been established in the Chicago poetry community. So I'm like, if I change my name, I got to start all over building my brand again, right? So I went with the other alternative, which was to change the spelling to differentiate that brother from Philadelphia from myself. And we've had conversations about it, you know, as well. He's called me up and reached out to me, and we've had some conversations about it. And at the end of the day, you know, and I told him, I said, brother, I said, we're on two different journeys. You know, you're brilliant. Your accolades are unmatched, the things that you've been able to accomplish as an individual. But the route that I'm on is more from a movement perspective, and want to include and bring into the movement other brilliant individuals, because see, Blaq Ice won't be here forever. And so can voices behind the pens and poet radio still run without Blaq Ice being here? So the way I built up this movement, you know, it was with me not being here in mind. You know, I don't want to build myself up to be more than I am, but I am a humble brother, but I do realize that we don't live forever. And, you know, we have to prepare a platform to be in place. When my son died, man, it changed my whole perspective, you know? And so what I'm doing is I'm creating platforms that other people can benefit from. So the radio show can run without me. The radio station could run without me. You know, the National Spoken Word Awards could run without me. Poet could run without me if it had to. And so my focus is more on those type of things. Yeah, individually as an artist, I can kill it on stage. I can be your feature. I can be your videographer. I can be your DJ. I can be all those things, right? But again, when my time is up, when everything is said and done, when my purpose of being here on this earth is served, what's going to happen with the things that God has blessed me to build? And that's more of my focus today, more than just being an individual artist. How can I leave behind what God has blessed me to build so other people can continue to benefit from it? And, you know, I explained it that way to the brother. Yeah, so there were times when that brother and I really didn't see eye to eye, you know, on some things, and that's when I was coming up and I was ascending, you know what I'm saying? And I said to myself, why is the brother concerned with little old me from Chicago? But apparently he saw something that I didn't see at the time, And the world saw something that I didn't see at the time, that I was coming to a point where my international draw and my international appeal was really inclining, and it was really growing. And I see now today what they saw then that maybe I didn't see. But to that brother, he's an inspiration, you know, and I have nothing negative to say or bad to say about him. I'm proud of him and what he has done for this art genre, because just like brothers like yourself said, he opened up the door for thousands of poets to step in, to even be interested in spoken word poetry. And no matter what the situation is, we got to give, you know, honor what honor is due from that perspective.
Indeed. Yeah. I definitely feel you, my brother. I definitely feel you. I know it could be confusing because you're doing things on such a big level, you know. I remember back in 2015, you know, seeing you, and then from that point on, because I think that was the first time I got introduced to you. And from that point on, I seen the amount of work that you put in, you know, and you kept moving forward, man. And I definitely, man, you know, I congratulate you, but I definitely give you your flowers, man, because it's not easy. It's not easy, you know. But I think you've definitely now at some point you have definitely distinguished yourself, you know, in your movement, and then where things at now. So that's a beautiful thing. But I wanted to get the people, man, to hear another poem from you, my brother, before we bring our brother Orion in. So I'm gonna set the stage for you, man, and I'm gonna let you one more time, you know, let the people feel, you know, Blaq Ice coming back to the stage. Let's give a warm welcome for our brother, the incomparable Blaq Ice.
I remember a time that I wish that I could forget. It affects my brain like stone. Sometimes I sit alone thinking, I wonder, how many abortions have the women I slept with in my past had because of me? See, Poetic Blaq, I just felt like today on Soul Sessions was the day for me to tell my story, because for years I kept it hidden deep down inside of me. It's time for me to let it go now. I want to be free. I can't say that I know or recall every one, but I remember the first. I was 15 years past birth, and I was in love with Pumpkin, a 14-year-old freshman from Simeon High School. Thought that I knew it all, thought that I was cool, but the Bible says, professing themselves wise, they became fools. So I began ditching school, breaking rules and cutting class, all in an attempt to get some aspirations to become a rap star. Your boy is well known to be cold with them bars, but my heart had me locked up, stuck in a standstill. I couldn't see past this girl. She was like the center of my world, and everything revolved around her. I had never felt like this before. I was even cool with the parents who, for me, kept an open door, but that was all before she was late. And no, I ain't talking about for lunch. I'm talking about no visitors this month. And now we both scared, wondering what would our parents think. They are the ones who really cared about us and our future. We literally ripped their dreams apart, and this couldn't be mended with no suture, but we got to tell somebody. We didn't know what to do. We were only babies ourselves doing what grown folks do without a clue of the consequence. Until we had to deal with the consequence of sex with no protection, and it's too late for me to pull myself out of this one, because now she's expecting. And I'm expecting her dad to kill me on sight. See, my father always taught me to do what's right, but now that I'm on center stage, somehow I've gotten stage fright. So we talked, and she asked what was I thinking. And without even blinking, I said, baby, I'm not ready to be a father. And see, for her, this only made things harder. So she's told her mom, who forced her to get an abortion. And along with my coercion, I can only imagine the pressure at 14 that she must have been under. I was too young to know the procedure. I didn't even care. Only wish that she would have made me be there. Maybe I needed it. See, things don't register the same unless you see it. And then you can believe it. And now she's left with the permanent scar from a decision that we both made. But she's the only one who paid. Or at least that was what I thought. See, you can run from a situation, but sooner or later, your ass gonna get caught. I felt like it was all my fault. And over 20 years later, my child that was aborted when I was at the age of 15 has now come back to haunt me. My firstborn at the age of 15 was taken away from me. He died from cancer. I was too young to know the physical pain of an abortion, but now I know the answer. It's clear now. I see the picture. And it takes me back to that same scripture. Professing themselves wise, they became fools. So if there's any teens listening to Soul Sessions today, please stay in school, learn from my mistakes. Don't wait until it's too late. I apologize. I'm sorry. I wish that I could go back, change, and rearrange things. If you only knew the consequences that choices and decisions bring. See, y'all, at the time, I was only 15. And I remember a time that I wish that I could forget. Yet it's etched in my brain like stone. Sometimes I sit alone thinking, I wonder how many abortions have the women I slept with in my past had because of me. See, Poetic Blaq, I just felt like tonight was the night for me to tell my story because for years, I kept it hidden deep down inside of me. It's time for me to let it go now. I want to be free. Rest in peace.
Wow, man. Wow. Absolutely profound, my brother. That's a heavy piece, man. That's a heavy piece. That is a heavy piece, man. And the parallel, man. Oh, man. Damn.
You know, my challenge, brother, is to always write about something that isn't discussed enough or a lot. I can write 20 pieces about God. I can write 20 pieces about relationship. I can write 20 pieces about Chicago violence. But how many pieces have you heard men do about how they feel about abortion? You know what I'm saying? So my challenge to myself and my challenge to those who are in the organization is to be unique and write something and discuss an issue that's taboo. We don't really even talk about too much. And so that was one of those other pieces, man, that I wish that I never had to write, but it happened. I penned it, I wrote it. And as a result of writing it and starting to talk about it and sharing it, it has healed me over that issue a little bit more, and it has healed others who have heard it.
I can imagine, my brother. I know it was painful, man. That's painful, and that's vulnerability, man, to disclose that. You know what I'm saying? For the benefit of other people, because other people benefits from that, man. To hear that, you know, they could redirect, you know, their decision making, and that's a powerful, powerful poem, my brother. I salute you, King. Oh, man, you came on here, man. I'm good for me. I got mic insurance, you know. I got, you know what I'm saying? I got all this stuff insured. So, you know what I mean? You came in here, man, and destroyed the microphone, but you came with my brother, man. You know,
yes.
This brother right here, man, like I said earlier in the show, man, you know, I had the pleasure of catching an interview of him, you know, over on Instagram. I believe he was on my brother's station, Willie Washington, you know, and he did a sit down with him. And the poetry that he performed on that show, it just blew me away. And then we both had a lot of the same trials and a lot of the same tribulations and things of that nature, man. And we both overcame. This brother, man, let me give him the introduction that he properly deserved. The Spoken Soul Session Studio know who this brother is. He came on this platform once before and killed it. I'm talking about none other than Orion Meadows, who is a slam poet, spoken word performance artist, activist, author, and public speaker. Much of his activism is expressed through his art. Orion is a member of the organizations such as NAEFI, National Alliance for the Empowerment of the Formerly Incarcerated, and PNAP, Prisoners Neighborhood Arts and Education Project. While attending Northeastern Illinois University, he is an advocate for the implementation of the creative art and academic programs in the Department of Corrections and has served as a participant in Queen Mother's Helen Sinclair's Jessie Ma Houston Prison Outreach Ministry, which is a branch of the Rainbow Push Coalition. Among his other accomplishments, he has attained ordination in West African and African American religious and cultural studies from the Temple of Ole, which is also known as the Ruya Ole, and is the founder of the Sahu Creative. With no further ado, let's welcome our brother back to the Spoken Soul Session studio, man. The incomparable Orion Meadows. What's going on, King?
All right, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate you for bringing me back on, man. It's been a while.
Most definite, my brother.
Yeah. I think I had been out, if I'm correct. I think when we did that, I had been out maybe about 6 months, 5 or 6 months at the time. So, a lot has changed. I'm still doing some of the work that I was doing with PNAP and NAFI, but now I'm doing a lot of other work as well. Similar though, you guys were talking about nonviolence earlier, and that's what I'm working with right now in the community here. So I do a lot of nonviolence work. So that's where a lot of my goals outside of the poetry community in that way.
Most definite, man. When I seen that you aligned with Blaq Ice, man, I'm like, yeah, this is a match made in heaven, because this brother, man, Orion, you are driven. And since I saw your interview with William Washington, from that point when you came on my show, like just watching your progression, man, you've been everywhere. I've seen you do your live streams. You sent me about I'm make 3-4 artists over for me to interview them. You know what I'm saying? Some dope interviews, man. I interviewed Go Find Mars. That was a beautiful interview, man. And yeah, man, you're always working, my brother, man. And it shows that your resilience, man, to overcome, to not allow anything to stop your drive, man. You are a man of purpose, man. You are a man of purpose, and I salute you, King, because I seen the growth, man. In this short term, this short span, you've been constantly busy everywhere, and I think it's just a testament to your character and who you are. You know what I mean? So tell us a little bit quickly about, how you lined up with Blaq Ice.
Oh man, so I was able to through one of the poets here, Geronimo Speaks. I think that had mentioned my name to Blaq Ice, and so I had seen him, I think, at a couple of venues. I forgot. Voice Behind the Pen. I think that's how we first connected. Voices Behind the Pen. I went on there, and then we ended up meeting face to face because we hadn't met face to face. That's what it was. Somehow I ended up on Voice Behind the Pen. Now, I'm not quite sure if that was a result of Geronimo, but somehow I ended up there, or Blaq Ice reached out. I can't remember exactly. He may know. But anyway, I ended up on Voice Behind the Pen, and then I came on actually as a guest host on there, and then we ended up meeting face to face, and we began to converse, and we had a lot of things in common. So, you know, we decided, I think maybe it's been like 2 months now, maybe, around that I've been part of the forward movement.
Wow, man. And I mean, your drive is just so driven. So I know that, you know what I'm saying, you bring in that energy, you know, and your talent, man. Your talent. You know, you have a certain degree of poetry. You know, your poetry, man, is very, very thought-provoking. You know, very thought-provoking. In fact, I want to get the people, you know, they got the whole show, but you get the reminder. I want the people, like, spit a little something for the people, man. Like, come on the stage, man, and let the people know why I'm talking so highly of you. You know, let me set the stage up for you. Coming back to the stage, let's give a warm, warm welcome for our brother, the incomparable Orion Meadows.
Each day, the memories of my past transgressions eat away at my conscience. Because deep inside my soul, I know that the pain and ill feelings that you have were caused by me. And the wounds are much deeper than the eyes can see. So I apologize for all the times I knew damn well I was wrong, yet still carried on with my selfish behavior. And even the times I rationalized when my actions were justified need to be atoned for. Hell, maybe even more. See, I want you to understand. I want you to understand that I'm trying to say what at one time I couldn't. I wouldn't because of my pride. But now that the truth has unfolded itself to me in such a way that I cannot hide, I'm forced to face the reality of the ugly truth that's living inside. But wait, let me apologize ahead of time just in case somewhere in my mind this act of contrition was deceiving. Self-seeking, meaning that it's more of an egocentric act. Less about you and more about me trying to find a way to get rid of these guilty feelings. I hope that's not the case. But in light of that being a possibility, there are still steps that I have to take to make things not perfect or right, but at least better. Because I don't want either of us to have to continue to live within this negative space that my unwise choices created forever. But you and I know that words mean both everything and nothing. So the bottom line is I apologize for all the times I burdened you with this painful feeling. And I hope that you are willing to open the door to your heart to wholeheartedly trust me once more.
Didn't I tell you guys, very thought-provoking, man? I mean, damn, my brother, man, you still doing it big, bro. You're still doing it big, man. Like, I'm so, you know, enthused, and I'm anticipating, you know, what's gonna happen with you, my brother. Like, the big things that you're gonna do, man. Because I see you on big stages, man. I really do see you on big stages, man. You have a phenomenal pen, you know, and I definitely think it's that time that you come back onto the studio, man. We have another sit down, man, to see how things has progressed for you, you know, so far. You know what I'm saying, my brother? But wow, yeah, man. Yeah, definitely, bro. Like, I wanted to ask you, did you get a nomination for the upcoming Spoken Word Awards?
Yeah. So I was nominated. Somebody nominated me in 2 different categories. One, I think it's best spoken word male. And then the other one is the Armin Ra mentorship.
Wow.
Category. Yeah. So I really appreciate it. You know, for me, I've never really been, you know, real big on awards. I mean, it's definitely good to be appreciated by your peers. But, you know, I always tell people that if I win, I want to win for the people who are still incarcerated right now. Because when I was writing from the perspective of an incarcerated person. And with with in mind the possibility that, you know, you never know when your last day will be. And I used to see so many brothers pass while I was incarcerated. So I was writing then at the time when I went, you know, I had a 45-year prison sentence at 100%. So that with that type of weight on you, you know, you're not certain that you're gonna make it out. So as I was utilizing my pen, I had that in mind. Like, okay, this is for the ones this is for posterity. And also for those who are out there who don't necessarily understand the plight of those who are incarcerated. So I was writing, trying to depict, you know, that experience of being inside of the prison industrial complex and taking them through my psyche, you know, as far as certain things that brought about decisions that I made, and then the subsequent consequences, right? And then also what people have to endure once they are, you know, when they are under that yoke. And I'm referring to the youth that you guys were talking about earlier, because they don't think about those consequences. Because, you know, I and my peers, we didn't think about that. We saw people go to prison, but it's, you know, you don't really think about it as much when you're out there and amongst the madness. And so that was the goal that I had in mind as I was writing. So if I would have said, it would be for the people who are still locked down, who aspire to do great things, who want to come out and be mentors, or even those who are still in there, who are fighting to get out, who realize that they may not get out, but they're still creating, writing urban novels, writing poetry books and stuff like that. That's who that really is.
It's powerful, my brother. Powerful, man. And you one of those brothers that never forgot that struggle. You never forgot the struggle. You know, when you're behind the wall, you know, you hear a lot of stories. You hear those stories about people like, yo, I'm gonna write you when I get out. Yeah, when I get out, yeah, I'm gonna write you, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then, you know, you never see them in action.
Right.
They go home and they forget. And it's understandable. It's understandable. There's a lot going on. You're trying to get acclimated back. But it takes a certain type of individual, with a certain type of resilience, diligence to keep their word. You know, and I see it in you, my brother. You know, you kept your word. You know, all the times you told brothers behind the wall, yo, when I get out, man, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna reach back in. I'm gonna try to uplift. And since from the first interview, man, you've been doing just that. You've always tried to be involved or wrapped up into something that's dealing with outreach, that's helping people become better versions of themselves. And I salute you, King. I really do, man. And I'm hoping you're gonna win this award. I'm gonna vote, you know, because I stay voting, you know. I got some New York hitters, you know what I'm saying, that's nominated. So I'm on that New York stuff. You know, so I gotta represent for New York, man. But the faces that I know, the people that I know, when I see the ballot, you know, I vote for them, man. You know, and you got some brothers, man. Geronimo Tat, I know he got a nomination. Ebony the Goddess, I know she got a nomination. You know, so I'm definitely aware. And I see you, my brother, man. So, you know, we get to vote every day. I'm gonna vote for you, my brother, because I really want to see you get acclimated. And I know you're not looking for the reward or anything like that. You already got the reward and you giving back. And I understand that, King. And I really salute you, man. And you should be recognized amongst your peers. You know, just keep up full steam ahead, my brother. I really look forward to sitting back down with you and for us catching up, man. You know what I mean? And talking a little bit, man. For real, King.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a lot going on, man, and I've learned a lot in this since I think we talked. It's been almost 2 years now. It's going on 2 years.
Yes. You was in the first season. You was the first season of Spoken Soul Sessions, man. First season, man.
That's something, yeah. And the travel, you know, to be able to travel, it taught me a lot about, you know, the poet world, the poetry world, rather. But then it taught me a lot about myself, too. Once I was able to travel and go to different places, I realized that the type of person that I am, that I couldn't live somewhere that's not like Chicago. Because I like to always stay involved, and I like to be around other people who are creative, and that's like my recreation is, you know, being involved in the art community, the art world, in the academic world. And we have so much stuff going on here that if I were to go somewhere else that's not like Chicago, I would have to be somewhere like Chicago, New York, LA, somewhere.
Yeah, where you need it. That's right. Exactly. You need to be where you're needed.
I couldn't be out in the country or something like that, or in some rural area for long periods of time. I was in, and this ain't a shot, a diss it, but I was in Rhode Island, man. And I couldn't wait to get back to Chicago. Man.
I feel you, my brother. I really do, man. Man, it was so good for hearing from you again, man. I definitely want to reach out to you and get you back on the show, man. Blaq Ice, man, this brother right here is definitely phenomenal, man. You know, and I'm loving the immersion, man. I'm really loving it, man. I'm loving what's happening right here. And I wanted to ask you, Ice, what's the requirements? Because the inquiring minds are listening. They want to know, how do people get nominated for the National Spoken Word Awards?
Okay, the nominations are done by their peers and their fans. And so what we require is for video proof of whatever you're nominating someone for. So this is the Spoken Word Awards. We don't nominate literary poets. So you have to be a performer. So if you are nominating somebody for let's just say the category that Orion was nominated for, the Amen-Ra, which is one of our legendary Chicago poets who passed away last year from cancer. One of the kings of poetry, slam champion, he passed away. And so this year we created a new category for mentorship work, which is one of the things that he did. And so if you were to nominate someone for that particular category, then you would have to produce a video where they were doing mentorship work.
Got you.
In order for them to qualify, you must have proof that the person does what you're nominating them for. If you're nominating somebody for the erotic poetry category, you got to send us videos of, you know, that person doing erotic poetry. Now, what happens sometimes is that people may have one erotic poetry poem or one spiritual poem, and then they want to qualify for those categories. But the spiritual poet category is for the people who do spiritual poetry. You know, the erotic category is for those people who do that kind of poetry. You know, and so sometimes there's confusion, and we had a little bit of confusion this year with the Honey Drippers. They were nominated for best group or duo, but we were not able to produce a video of them performing as a group. You know,
wow.
It don't mean you have to have like a group poem, you know, because poet don't have that, a group poem. But you will see Blaq Ice and Orion and Lottie D and the other poet members standing on stage together doing a joint performance together. We're being introduced as the poet, the poet organization. So there was some discrepancy about that because the Honey Dripper movement is a movement and an organization, but the videos that they presented to me were not of a group performance. These were of events that they threw.
I got you.
Productions that they threw. Well, how come you guys didn't nominate for Promoter of the Year or Best Open Mic of the Year or some of these other things? But whoever nominated them just didn't understand the rules. But all the rules are listed on nationalspokenwordawards.com, and all those things are there.
Oh, definitely, man. So I'm definitely gonna put that in the description of this episode. So if anybody wanted to nominate anyone, they will have the proper steps to take in order to doing it. But I think this is an amazing thing, man. I think it's wonderful that you've created something, man, to show appreciation to the artist, the performer, because you got a lot of brothers, by myself being included, man, that run the circuit, go to city, man, performing open mics, performing slams. Like me, I was a slam rat. You know what I'm saying? Any slam I could get into, I'm trying to get in there. And but to show homage, to pay homage to these artists and performers, man, I think it's beautiful, man. And it's gaining more and more popularity as the years go by, because I remember back in 2015, only certain people knew about it, but now people are knowing about this, on all these different social media apps, on all these different platforms. You're getting even press, you're getting real press out there about this event. So I thought that was just it was just monumental, in order for spoken word, And that's what we do over here, man. This is why I created this platform, mainly to bring light on artists that we didn't know, but to also pay homage to those individuals, the pioneers and the trendsetters and the trailblazers who come and they take us to the next level. And I think that's what you're doing, my brother. I really do, man. And I really appreciate your work.
And one of the things that I wanted to do, I don't know, if I'm going to do this forever, but I was very concerned. It's very important to me to be transparent and to have the integrity of these awards there, So therefore, Blaq Ice don't vote for nobody or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't nominate myself. My wife is not nominated for anything, and so I'm not nominated for anything. But poet members can be nominated because as an individual, they have their own brand.
That's right.
So there is a Poet Community Service Award. So because, Poet does community service. I mean, and I want to differentiate. Poet is an artist activist organization. We don't throw shows. Blaq Ice Production is who throws shows. So if it ain't community related, Poet don't do it.
I got you.
I wanted to specify that I separate the brands. So when you talk about the kings of poetry, the queens of poetry, heirs to the throne, all those events that that I throw, that's honoring brothers and sisters who are either up and coming stars or either are very has a very strong footprint in the game, been in this game for decades. We've honored hundreds of people and awarded them on our Kings of Poetry, Queens of Poetry, Heirs to the Throne events, right? That's Blaq Ice Production. Feeding the hungry, clothing the poor, going into prisons, and we're actually going into a prison coming up on August 26th, the last Saturday in this month. We're back there again. But all that stuff is Poet. So when it comes to the National Spoken Word Awards, we do something that I haven't seen anybody do. And that's to show you the results of the awards once the awards are over. So you can find out how many votes you got. You can find out how many votes the person who won got. And I'm telling you right now,
very transparent. Yeah.
Some people are pissed off because some people literally lost by like 15 votes, 10 votes.
Wow.
It was the difference of that. So I know that people look at it like, man, the dopest poet should win. This is for your fans. This is for your supporters. This is for your followers.
That's right.
So it all comes down to really who wants it the most. Who this is important to, because who wants it the most and who it's important to, you're going to be telling your friends, your family members, your followers, and your fans and your supporters, hey, go and vote for me. And I can tell you right now who takes it serious versus who don't take it serious.
That's right.
There are people who literally got 20 votes. But there's people that got 2,000 votes. So you can look at to see who's taking this thing serious versus who's not taking it serious, you know. But either way it goes, like I said, the platform is what God blessed me to bring forth, and I thank all those whose shoulders I stand on who came before me. And at the end of the day, it's a win for all spoken word artists because it's the only thing that we have in the form of a Grammy type. That's right. Grammy type event where we can award and reward our spoken word artists for what they do.
That's right. Celebrate them. Oh man, my brother, man, it's phenomenal, man. I do appreciate it. You know, because that recognition, it shows that, you know, what the work that we are doing out there is being recognized, that people are listening, that we're making an impact, you know, so it's very important, man. And I salute you for, you know, like picking up the reins, man, picking up the reins to make sure that this thing that we love so much don't die, you know, and I'm on the same lines with you, brother, you know, like-minded people. I'm on the same lines, man. We want to bring something.
And there's one more thing. The nomination period, right, always starts April the 1st, the first day of National Poetry Month. And it goes all the way to, April, May, right, goes to May 31st, right? And then the voting period is between June, May 31st, May 15th. Oh, May 15th. I'm sorry. Then the voting period is between June and July, so you get 2 months to vote, right? August, that gives me the opportunity to, you know, calculate those votes, get those awards, get those trophies. I need a month to do that, you know, and it's a very expensive thing. We're talking about,
I can imagine.
You know, we're talking about thousands of dollars, right? But you can only be nominated for what you did between April the previous year and April the current year. So there were people who nominated albums, you know, hey, I'm nominating this person for best spoken word album, right? So I have to go and do the research, and I have to type in the name of the album, the name of the poet, and find out what was the first post that was posted about the release of this album. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how intense the research is.
Wow.
If I found out that you released your album before April 2022, then it don't qualify. Because what you did between April the 1st, 2022 to March 30th or March, or whatever the last day of March is of 2023. It's between April and April. And so that's another thing that some people got kind of caught up in. I'm like, wait a minute, you nominated this album last year. How you gonna nominate this album last year and this year?
The same album. Yeah, I see where you coming from, man. But I love the transparency. You know, allowing the people to see the votes, allowing the people to, you know, because I just did a competition, me, you know, and my brother, Written in Pain. We just put on a competition on Clubhouse, 14-week competition, man, and it was grueling. took a lot of money, a lot of effort, you know, and you know, a lot of the disgruntled, you know, artists. Oh, I didn't like the way this went down, but we tried to be as transparent as possible, you know, and we developed like a voting system, but individuals took advantage of that, you know, where they was doing, well, this person didn't have the worst poem, but you know, they're getting nominated. You know what I'm saying? They got a whole bunch of, like, this person had the best poem of that week, but they getting a whole bunch of votes to go home. And we was like, nah, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna step in. So I understand, you know, how hard it is to try to keep something like that up. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of dedication. And I applaud you for that, my brother, because you know, it's been going strong. It's been going strong. Every year that I saw, it got better. Every single year, man. You know, from 2015 when I first, you know, when I first started to notice it, I was like, I started to notice you. But then when the Poetry Awards came out, I was like, yo, this is dope. I always said that to myself. I was like, yo, this is dope. You know, no matter how small it was back then, because it's really big now. But I was like, this is dope. I was like, this is something for us, you know what I mean? And I really appreciated it. So yeah, brother, shout out to you, King, man, for continuing to do what you do, man, because you do it all, man. You know, you do it all. You can tell that your resolve is very deliberate. Your resolve is very deliberate, man, and you got a mission, man, you know, and you know, with the help of God, man, you're gonna complete your mission, man, and like-minded people around you, man, because I support what you do, my brother. I do. I see the effort that you're making out there, and I think it's commendable.
And I appreciate that. And, you know, a lot of, you know, some people who do these type of things, this is all that they do, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to what God has blessed me to do, having those two hats that I wear, this year alone, this is what, August the 16th?
Yep.
Right. So this year alone, I've done 122 performances this year so far.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then we have Voices Behind the Pens on Monday nights. You know what I'm saying?
I've been to a couple episodes of that. You got Marvelous Marv over there, don't you?
Yep, got Marvelous Marv.
Yeah, I've been on a couple of episodes of that, whereas I went to go listen and called into the number. But yeah, that's a dope platform, man. I enjoyed myself over there, man.
And then Tuesdays, every Tuesday, I'm teaching Bible class on the same network. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Truth Hour. That's what that's for right there. Truth Hour. Right? And then tonight, airing right now as we speak, as we're on here, we have Wordsmith Wednesdays. You know what I'm saying? With Lottie D, Analog Soul, and I Inspiration. So I'm saying,
that's dope. Lottie D Shades over there on Wednesday night?
Lottie D is on Wednesday nights now.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. I definitely looking forward to having a sister on this platform. I want to have a sit down interview with her, man. But that's dope, man. Everywhere I look, man, these dope artists, man. And cause I seen Marvelous Marv over there on in Clubhouse. In fact, she was a part of the competition, the Grand Griot competition. She did very well in the competition, man. And I seen her, she was the host of the show. I'm like, oh, this is like Marv over here. And I went over there, man. I really enjoyed myself on that platform. But you got all of these different programs going on, you know, and I don't know if you even finished yet because you just stopped that Wednesday. We didn't even get to Thursday or Friday yet.
Right. So, yeah, we got some talk shows that are on there as well, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, my point that I'm making is, in addition to having a full-time job, you know what I'm saying? You know, that to be at every morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, sometimes getting off at 3, sometimes getting off at 10 o'clock at night, you know, in addition to having, you know, a rental service. My wife and I built a table chair, generator, stage lights, because we have a production company, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, while we're not doing shows, we can rent out what we use for shows. So if you need a stage, if you need chairs, if you need tables, if you need, you know what I'm saying? So it's like all these moving parts happening at the same time. And at the same time, you know, the poet anthology books. We own our like 7th anthology books, creating new published authors, people who couldn't afford to publish their own book. But I say, look, you come up with $100. You come up with $100. You come up with $100. And we gonna create a book. In exchange for your $100, you get to be published and you get 5 books. Each book sells for $25 each. So that's your $100 back that you just put in your book, right? But now, when our sister in Canada is selling her book to her people, guess what? They get exposed to you and your poetry. When our brother in Ghana is selling his book, exposing his people, the Ghanaian people, to the other people that are here in the U.S. to their poetry. So it's like, you can just deal with your network of people, or you can expand your network. And expanding your network expands your net worth.
Powerful words. Powerful words. That's what I'm talking about, man. Making it work, man. Making it work. I'd definitely love to talk to you, you know what I'm saying, on a different level when we sit down, you know what I'm saying, and pick your brain on some of the marketing strategies and some of the ways that we probably can collab on some upcoming events, you know what I'm saying, some ventures in New York, so definitely, man. Yo, brother, I mean, you're doing so much out there, man. I know you're a busy person, man, because you got so much going on.
I got to show you one thing. Let me turn this thing. Can I turn this around, or I got to just turn the whole phone around?
Yeah, you probably have to turn it all around, because I don't think you can switch the camera around.
Let me shed some light on some of this stuff.
Wow, my brother. Now you got like 8 Chicago Music Awards, right?
Yeah, that's I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah, I see them. Wow, man.
Yeah, wow. And one of them is one of these is the Langston Hughes Award. This one right here. I don't know if you can see that from right there.
Yes, I can see it.
Langston Hughes Award for yeah. So yeah, it's just been a blessing, man. Again, I stay humble. There's no big eyes or little U's. Again, at one point I feared, at one point early in developing Poet, there was a fear that, man, okay, cool. If I shared everything with everybody else, right, then it would take away from me personally. But God showed me that in sharing with everybody else, it made me even larger than I was when I was not sharing.
Powerful. It's amazing, man. Like, I can see it, man. Other people can see it. Throughout the years, man, you've grown. Your platform have grown. You've become world renowned. And, it's a testament that, God is definitely going to assist, and gonna aid you in pursuing your dreams, because you're doing God's work right here. People, I know it's real deeper for you. We look at it as poetry, spoken word, activism, but when you peel all of that off, it's God's work.
Right.
It may come in the personification of these different artistries, but it's God's work, and you have to do it, because you've been called to do it. And I resonate with that, man. Like-minded people think alike, and I see your effort, my brother. I know you're busy. I don't want to take up too much of your time. We've been out here for 2 hours already, and I mean, it's not easy to get your, to get your time like that, because you're doing so many things and you're traveling. Even when booking this, you was traveling, going from one venue to the next. So I know how busy you are, my brother. But I really want to thank you for taking the time to come on the platform, man, and vibe with me, man. And then you brought some powerful brothers with you. Orion, Meadows. You brought our brother Aquil. These are powerhouses, man. These brothers are powerhouses, and these brothers are also known for their activism. They're also known for their contributions to this poetry thing that we love so much, man. So I salute all you kings, man, and I really appreciate you coming down, sitting down with me, man, and just vibing with me, man. And I'm looking forward to the National Poetry. I can't wait till you guys go live. I'm definitely gonna be on the stream. You know what I'm saying? I got my brother, Eric Crow Draven. He's nominated again this year. Orion, I know Lottie got some nominations. Ebony, I know it's gonna be dope, man, and I'm looking forward.
Boy, Ebony and Lottie D for best female spoken word artist. That was a battle right there. I saw the numbers change in each way. I'm like, whoa.
Mean. I know, man, because when I go look at the ballot, I'll be like, oh man, one day you gonna get this one, the other day you gonna get this one. And because I want both of them to win. I want both of them to one person can win. May the best person win, man, but both of them deserve it. Put it that way. Right. Both of them deserve it, man. And I salute you, King, man. Thank you, man. I want to thank you. I want to thank our brother Orion Meadows. I want to thank our brother Aquil for coming through, man. That was a surprise for me, man. That was a real surprise for me that the brother came through, man. I enjoyed that, man. This has been a great interview. Now this is the time, I gotta leave my audience with some form of inspiration. This is that time of the show when I need you. If you can hear the sound of my voice, I need you to tune in. I need you to tune in to the sound of my voice. I got something to tell you of much importance. I hope you continue to be on your path. Never allow anyone to move you off course. We got constant work that we need to do. This is not a one-day thing. This is something that we have to do continuously. If you don't know anything about me, I want you to know this. I want you to know that I love you. And I hope you love me too. Peace.